Minnix. I am the author of the Mandolin Dead Man's Tuning books, and I also have the Minnix Music Workbook for guitar available. I also have these for piano. I have them for stringed instruments like the mandolin or the violin. If you're a music teacher and you're looking for a really good resource that'll let you write out scales and chords and diagrams for your students, or if you're a student and you need something to keep track of and you're like tired of having stuff all over the place, this might be a good resource for you, or my other ones will be a good resource. And I'll try to get a blog post up somewhere on my website so that you can find those books easily, or you can just do a search. You know, if you go and look me up on Amazon, those books are available from there as well. And I'll try to put some links down in the bottom here in the video. But I have been going over how to play the guitar in the last few months in open D tuning. D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. And there are a lot of good videos out there that teach you how to play licks in open D tuning, but I've been trying to teach you a whole system of understanding how the guitar works in open D tuning, and this week will be our last video that covers the very last box that you've been learning. Now, if you're a guitarist and you've learned your cage sequence, the C, A, G, E, D boxes on the regular, normal, standard tuning guitar, this concept will not be that unfamiliar to you. But if you haven't learned those, then this may be a new thing. What we've been doing is we've been breaking down all of the patterns that let you play leads up and down the neck in open D tuning into 6 simple boxes that you can memorize, and you can use those boxes anywhere on the neck or in this pattern to get you to where you can play leads. Now, when I said anywhere on the neck, what I mean is these patterns can be slid into different spots that let you play in other keys, so you're not just stuck in the key of D. And I'm going to show you the last box in this video, and I'm also going to show you how to play in other keys in this video. So I hope this one is a really good, important video to help you become a really good guitar player in open D tuning for slide or for finger picking style guitar. So with that said, I want to do a quick review of all of the boxes that we've learned so far. And if you haven't learned these boxes, please check out the previous videos, because they will go in more depth and they will show you exactly how to play these other boxes. But here's just a quick overview. Open, 2, open 2, open 2. Then when you get into the F sharp, it's open 1, open 2, open 2. The next box connects those. 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 2, 4. And if you want to play blues notes, they're right there on the 3rd fret. The next box is 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. The next box is 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, with an 8 right there if you want to on the F sharp, 5, 7, 5, 7. And then the box that we learned last month, which is kind of a complicated box, is 7, 9, 7, 9, with a possible 10th note on the 10th, the note on the 10th fret, 7, 9, 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9. Okay, and that sets us up for this month's box, which is right here. It's 11, 12, 10, 12, 11, 12, 11, 12, 10, 12, 11, 12. And when you play through it, it sounds weird. It sounds kind of exotic, like, you know, it's kind of odd. But really, these are the notes modally that get you the rest of the notes that you need to get up to that 12th pattern. And how we usually use those in slide is we don't sit there and go. We usually slide back and forth in an L pattern. So you hear it. It makes a little bit more sense when we play it that way. But you can play it as actual licks, finger style, if you want to. So now that we have these boxes covered, from the first box all the way up until this last little box, and I mean technically the last two videos have been one big box, but I split them into two to make them a little bit easier for you to learn. These boxes, and you know, other people may have a different opinion on this, but that's okay. These boxes will get you from the open position all the way up to the 12th fret. And this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Once you get to the 12th fret, it all starts over again, and you start using the same patterns until you run out of frets on your neck. Now, some guitars are 2-octave guitars, and they have all the frets from here to here, and then from there to there. Some aren't, like mine. It stops, you know, right around here, and so I run out of frets. But you can still continue to play further up the neck if you want to get like special effects or really high notes or something like that. But you're going to follow that pattern all the way up. Now, I promised that I would teach you how to play in other keys in open D tuning, and so that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of this video. And it really is not as difficult as it seems. All you have to do for a very simplified version of this is, most musicians are familiar, and most guitar players are familiar with the concept of using a capo, which I have one around here somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure what I did with it. They use a capo to clamp off and to move their pattern up the neck. Okay, so if you were to say you're in open D tuning, but you want to play in the key of E, well, you'd put a capo right here at the 2nd fret, and you continue to play the way you normally would with the capo applied, and you could use the same patterns to get you up and down the neck. If you wanted to be in the key of F, you would clamp at the 3rd fret. You know, if you wanted to be in G, you would clamp at the 5th fret in G. A would be the 7th fret, you know, and so on and so forth. But in the same manner that you would put a capo on and continue to play your patterns in those scales, if you don't have a capo, you don't have to put it on there to be able to play in that key. All you have to do is remember that instead of playing open, you're now fingering that note, so that way you actually play it rather than just let it ring, you know, open. So, for instance, let's take our first pattern. Our first pattern is open, 2, open 2, open 2, open 1, open 2, open 2. Now let's say I play something like this. Okay? Now if you want to play that in E, well, now you move your pattern here, so open becomes the 3rd fret. So it's actually something like 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 3, 5. So you got, which I forget what I played in the first lick, but and now you're playing, you know, right there in, that would be E flat, or F. That'd be the key of F. I think I switched somewhere. I should have been in, I wanted to be in E. But that's how you would start to transpose to another key. And then you would follow your patterns all the way up the neck. Now, that brings up another interesting thing that you can use. B.B. King was kind of known, and if you're a guitar player used to playing in standard tuning, you may be familiar with the B.B. King box. And the BB King box, I won't play it on here because it's not the same because I'm out of tune, or out of the standard tuning, but a BB King box kind of looks like, you know, you have a pattern where it's one fret apart and then one on the next string back right there. And BB King played a lot of his iconic music like there. In fact, let me grab a different guitar that's actually in standard tuning and I can show you. I'm close enough to in tuning. So let's say we're here. So BB King had a small box that he liked to play in. Well, you can do the same thing. If there are certain keys, if there are certain boxes that I've taught in this series that you really like let's say it's the 5-7 box. Well, that's kind of like the BB King. That's actually not the right key. I should have been here. So the 7 to the 9 box is really similar to the BB King box in D tuning. And if you like that, well, right here, 7 and 9 is the key of D. That's where that box is found. So if you want to, you can move it up or down and you can play blues leads in the different key. So here we are in D. If we move it up to, well, here it is in E. If we take this back to the D and we go down to, we're in the key of C. And so any lick that you play right there is going to sound good in the key of C. If you move it back to from C, you'd be in B flat. You know, if you want to go up one from E, you're in F. So you can slide partial boxes, you can slide full boxes up and down the neck, but you have to remember what your scale is. And in your scale, some guitarists don't know this, but the chromatic scale to help you slide up and down is just whatever note the string is tuned to. So let's start with the bottom string. In this case, that's a D. D, D sharp, E, F. There's no space between E and F. There's no E sharp. So it's E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, because again there's no B sharp or C flat, just goes B, C, C sharp, and then we get to the 12th fret and we're back to D again. If we were on the A string, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, because there's no E sharp, F sharp, G, G sharp, and we're back to A again, and so on and so forth on each string. And if you slide your box up and down, the way that I remember it is, if it's a D box and I start my pattern on the string D, then I can count up and down from D to get to that new key that I want to be in. It is a little bit of math. It's almost like algebra that you're doing in your head. So for some people, they're like, math, I hate math, it's hard. But the more you get used to it, the more you find that you're used to thinking of certain dots as, okay, that pattern at that dot is this key. That pattern at this dot is this key. And this space between the two dots is that key. And I'm going to tell you right now, most people don't play in every key all the time. Most people have a couple keys that they're familiar with. So if you learn how to move your boxes in from the key of D to, say, the key of G or the key of A, if you're playing with other guitar players, maybe even the key of E. If you're going to play with a piano player, maybe you want to be able to move your box to the key of C or the key of F. And once you have those boxes, you're pretty good. Let's say you want to play with a saxophone player. You learn to move it to B flat or you learn to move it to E flat. And those boxes, because they can be moved up and down the neck, gives you the ability as a guy playing in an open D-tuned guitar to be able to play in any key that anybody wants to play in, and you don't have to retune your guitar. You don't have to get a different guitar. You know, if you're playing at a gig, if you like one certain guitar and you learn these other boxes, yeah, it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of work, but once it's done, you can play in any key you want to in this tuning, and the same applies to all the others. This video will probably be a reference point for all the rest of the videos in the future, so you might want to bookmark this one when we get into open G and open A and open E and open C tunings. The same principles that we learn in this video will apply, and you may want to come back and check it out. So God bless you. I hope this really helps you become a great musician. I really feel like music is one of the only things in life that's eternal. Everything else is going to pass away one day, but music will continue forever. So enjoy learning the music, enjoy playing, keep working at it, and God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next video where we start to learn a new tuning. So have a good one.